So welcome to all. My next topic is drugs acting on ANS, specifically sympatholytic agents. So previously we had discussed the sympathomimetic agents, so which mimics the action of the norepinephrine as well as the epinephrine, and these drugs are opposite action of the epinephrine as well as the norepinephrine. So if you look at the synonym of this drug, which is called anti-adrenergic drug or adrenergic blocking agents as well as the adrenergic blockers. So compound that or drug that decrease the sympathetic activity, which is called adrenergic blocking agent as well as the sympatholytic agents, and they block the interactions of the norepinephrine with the receptor site. So if we look at the classification, so first alpha antagonist, so it is divided into the three main part. One is a non-selective, second is a selective alpha 1 antagonist, and third is a selective alpha 2 antagonist. So non-selectives are act on the alpha 1 as well as the alpha 2 receptor antagonist property. So again, one is a reversible, another is a irreversible. So all reversible non-selective antagonist having a imidazoline nucleus in its structures. So the drug are tolazoline and phentolamines. Irreversible non-selective antagonist having a beta haloalkylamine derivatives. So the drug are phenoxybenzamine and dibenamines. Specifically selective alpha 1 antagonists, so where josin suffix are there in any drug, so you have to understand these all are the selective alpha 1 antagonist, and these having a two types, two subtype. One is a quinazoline derivative where quinazoline ring in present in the drug nucleus. So the drugs are prazosin, terazosin, doxazosin and alfuzosins. So whenever you see the zosin suffix, so you have to understand that these all are the drugs selective alpha 1 antagonist, and another is tamsulosin and selective alpha 2 antagonists. Basically these all are the indole alkylamine alkaloids like humbin and idazoxan. Okay, so this is a classification. So in exam questions like which of the following in alpha 1 antagonist, which of the following is a reversible non-selective alpha 1 or reversible alpha antagonist drug or irreversible alpha antagonist drug. So such kind of questions are generally asked. So let us discuss one by one. So first beta antagonist. So non-selective beta antagonist having a propanolamine derivative. So the drugs including in beta antagonists are propranolol, nadolol, indolol, canbitalol, cartridrol, timolol, levobunolol, sotalol, and metiprolenol, and these all are the non-selective. Selective beta 1 are acebutolol, ethanol, betaxolol, bisprolol, ismolol, and metoprolol, and mix acting alpha and beta antagonists are labetalol and carvedol. So this is a very important topic or very important questions generally asked in the GPAT examination. In previous year, it was also asked which of the following is a mix acting alpha and beta antagonist. So two drugs are there, labetalol and carvedol are mix acting alpha and beta antagonist. And this is the only drug which is acting as a beta 2 antagonist, which is a butoxamine. Okay, and these all are the selective beta 1 receptor antagonists, and these all are the non-selective beta receptor antagonist, which is also called aryloxypropanolamine. So let us start in detail. Reversible non-selective alpha antagonist, or we can say imidazoline derivative. So this is a imidazoline ring which is present in the both the drug phentolamine as well as the tolazoline. So the structures are similar to alpha 1 agonist, but they do not having a lipophilic substituent required for agonist activity. Okay, so lipophilic substituent are not there. So Imidazoline derivative having a more alpha 1 blocking activity compared to alpha 2, and same like it is also used in pheochromocytoma. So let us discuss the IUPAC nomenclature of one drug. So uh, numbering start from here. So this is a 1 number, 2 number, 3, this is a 4, and this is a 5. So 4 5 position where no double bond is present. So 4 5 dihydro. At second position, benzyl group is there, or you can say phenyl methyl. So 2 phenyl methyl, and one position again it is a saturated atom. So 1H imidazole. So by this way you can give a nomenclature, because in exam the drug structure is given and you have to predict the nomenclature. Either nomenclature is given, you have to predict the correct drug or suitable nomenclature. So such kind of questions are generally asked. Now irreversible, or you can say beta haloalkyne. So why it is called beta haloalkyne? So for example, this is a general structure of the drug. This is a alpha and this is a beta. So at beta carbon, chlorine is there. So it is called beta haloalkyl means. And the mechanism is such kind of the drug where nitrogen are there. On nitrogen, lone pair is there. So this lone pair act as a nucleophile, attack at these carbon because of it is highly electrode efficient in nature because of attach with the chlorine nucleus, and that form a aziridinium ion. So main mechanism of such kind of beta haloalkylamine is aziridinium ion intermediate formations, and on receptor various amino acids are there, and due to that this nucleophile attack at the center, and this aziridinium ion, that is aziridinium ring, that is claves, and after claving these receptor that are being alkylated, and ultimately by these way did produce the antagonist effect. So this is non-selective drugs. They can also alkylate the other biomolecule which leads to toxicities. So the main mechanism of such kind of drug is alkylated of the receptors, or you can say biomolecules, okay, by aziridinium ion formations. Okay. So this kind of the drug having a another kind of the drug, anti-cancer drug like alkylating agent, having a same mechanism where it is also form aziridinium ion and then N7 of the guanine, which is alkylated, and ultimately inhibit the DNA synthesis. So it is the same in case of the sympatolytic beta haloalkylamine act by the similar way where receptors are alkylated. The drugs are dimenamine and phenoxybenzamine. So these two are the drug which are bind to alpha 1 as well as the alpha 2 receptor and causes the irreversible blocking action on this receptor, and that is due to the longer duration of actions. So why it is called irreversible? Because of the ones receptors are alkylated, so it is kind of the irreversible binding. Okay, and due to irreversible binding, that may produce the longer duration of the action. Next is a selective alpha 1 receptor antagonist. So basic ring present in the structure is quinazoline. So this is a quinazoline ring where these positions, like this is the fourth position, 5, 6 and 7 position where methoxy groups are there, and this is piperazine ring and acyl moiety. So these three are the important structural features. One is acyl moiety, next is a piperazine ring, quinazoline ring, and methoxy group at 6 and 7 positions. So quinazoline ring where 4 amino group required for alpha 1 receptor activity. So that means on quinazoline ring this amino group is required for alpha 1 receptor affinity. Piperazine ring is also there. The acyl moiety is basically for the pharmacokinetic property, and potent inhibitor of cyclophosphodiesterase enzyme that is ultimately increase the cyclic AMP, and which may lead to produce the vasodilation effect, which is used in benign prostatic hyperplasia, which is called BPH, and also used in hypertensions and also used in Raynaud's disease where there is a numbing of the fingers are taking place. So if you look at the structures of the various drug quinazolin derivatives, so first is the prazosin, terajosins and doxazosins. So where this alkyl group, which is furan ring is there, then it is called prazosin. Tetrahydrofuran, that means saturated derivative of furan, then it is a terajosins, and doxazosin 1,4 benzodioxin ring is there. Okay, oxygen are there, so that is called benzodioxin. Okay, so these are the structural features are present in different quinazolin derivatives. So let us discuss the IUPAC of any one drug, say for example prazosins, where here furan ring is attached. Okay, now four amino, that means this 4 amino, 6,7 dimethoxy, that means 6,7 dimethoxy, this is the second positions. So two quinazonilyls, one piperaziniles. Okay, this is called one piperaziniles, two furils. This is a one and second positions. Furan ring, one and second position. Furan ring is there. So two furils, methanol. Okay, this is called methanol. Now the actions of these drugs are that dilate the both arteries and vein without increasing the heart rate. Basically used in treatment of hypertensions, and alpha 1 antagonism that relax the prosthetic as well as the urethral smooth muscle, and basically these kind of the drugs are used in BPH. Okay, and compared to finasteride, so finasteride is a 5 alpha reductase inhibitor basically used in BPH. So this enzyme that is used to convert the testosterone to dihydroxy testosterone derivatives, and these finasterides are inhibit the 5 alpha reductase enzyme which is used in BPH. So terazosin is a more potent than finasterides drug which is used in BPH patient. Next is alphozosins. So alphozosins, it is the same like prazosin, but the piperazine rings are open in nature. So which is called open piperazine ring analog of the quinazolin. So it is a more selective for alpha 1A receptors, and it is a first line drug used in BPH patient with few cardiovascular side effects. So alphozosins, so how you have to remember alphozosins? So it is a open chain or open piperazine ring analog of the quinazolin, which is a alphozosin. Next is a tamosulosins, which is called uroselective alpha 1 blockers. Okay. So these thing you have to remember, uroselective alpha 1 a blocker, it is a tamosulosins, which is non-quinazolin derivative. So quinazolin ring is absent in tamosulosins. Instead of quinazolin ring, which having a benzene sulfonamide derivative. So this is a benzene and this is a whole ring is called benzene and this is a sulfonamide derivative. More selective for alpha 1A antagonist used in treatment of BPH, also first line agent of BPH, and the major side effect is failure of the ejaculations. Next is selective alpha 2 antagonist, so which is indole alkylamine alkaloids. So this is a indole ring and various alkylamines are there. So hence it is called indole alkylamine alkaloids. So first is a yombin, so which is obtained from Ocean Telia yombin and Rolfia root. It having a structural resemble to reserpine. So basically two isomer are there because having a one chiral center. 19R isomer is called yombin, which is alpha 2 selective blocker, and 19S isomer which is called ornithine, which is a alpha 1 selective activity. Yombin block the alpha 2 receptor in CNS due to the lipid solubility which cross the BBB and to produce the increase the heart rate and blood pressures, and which is used to increase the peripheral blood pressures and also used to dilate the pupil of the eye. So it is a basically indole derivative, indole alkylamine derivatives, and it having a two chiral center where 19 position there is a chiral center. So for one chiral center at two isomer are there, 19 r isomer is called yombin, 19 as isomer. So let us discuss the SAR of the beta blocker. So first is a modification of the isoproterenol nuclease. So when these 3,4 dihydroxy group is replaced by the dichloro group, give a dichloroisoproterenol, and this is a very carcinogenic in nature. So it is a partial agonist but not a pure antagonist property. If catechol group is replaced by naphthalene, gives a pronetherol. So this is the structure of pronetherols, which is a weak antagonist but having a much side effect like thymic tumor in mice. Due to that, it is also discontinued. Now let us discuss the points related to nitrogen substitutions. That means these amino group substitutions. NN dye substitution, that is a inactive in nature. Alpha methyl group, that is decrease in activity. That means here if there is a methyl group is there is a decrease in activity. Activity is maintained when phenyl ethyl as well as the hydroxyl phenyl ethyl as well as the methoxyphenyl ethyl substitutions are attached with the nitrogens, and cyclic alkyl substituent is better than the open chain substituent, and other derivative like para-hydroxy group on phenyl ring is replaced by the methane sulfonamide group. So here hydroxy group of the phenyl ring is replaced by methane sulfonamide group and activity is retained. This is the structure of the sotalol. Next is SAR of the propanolamides. So where the amines are secondary, which is required for optimum activity, and this is alpha and this is a beta carbon, where beta hydroxy substituent carbon must be in S configuration. So when this hydroxy group, it should be in S configuration. OCH2 group has been incorporated between the aromatic ring and the ethyl amino side chain which produce the potent beta blocker. Okay, so this is called OCH2 group. It should be located in between aromatic ring as well as the, this is called ethylamine side chain which having a more potent beta blocker activity. Now the effect of aromatic ring that affect the ADME of the drug, the presence of para substituent of the sufficient size on aromatic ring along with the absence of meta substituent that gives a beta 1 selectivity, like propranolol that is a devoid of antidepressant effect due to para anilide group. This is the structure of the propranolol, which is having a devoid of antidepressant activity due to para-anilide group. And in such kind of the class, the nature of molecules, so lipophilic nature of the molecule that leads to CNS side effects such as confusion and depressions, and it is preliminary clear by the liver, like example propranolols, and hydrophilic groups like no CNS side effect because it doesn't enter into the brain. It is clear by the kidney, and example is atenolol. So atenolol doesn't having any serious CNS side effect, while propranolol it has a CNS side effect. Let us discuss the first generation beta receptor antagonist. So aryloxypropanolamines derivatives. So it is basically divided into the two part based on their structures. The first is propranolols, indolols, and etiprenolol. So if we look at all these three class, this is a basic or you can say general structure where there are two different modification. One is aryl ring, another is a an alkyl group. So an alkyl group that is common in all these three drugs, which is a isopropyl group, and aryl group in propranolol, naphthalene ring is there. In pindolol, benzpyrrole ring is there, and here it's a simple phenyl ring, which is substituted with four different groups. Three are the methyl and another is a acetate groups is present. And these all agent nadolol, penbutalol, cartrenol, timolol and levobutanol. So where in all agents, thought butyl group are present at alkyl positions, and these all are the different aryl group are attached. In timolol, morpholin ring is there which is attached with the thiodiazole, and these all are the different substituent we'll discuss in individual drug. So this is the structure of the propranolol, pindolol and metipranols, where this isopropyl group is common in all these three structures. So let us understand the IUPAC of any one drug. So this is a one position. So one naphthalene, one viloxy because of this oxy group is there. Then three positions propan 2-yle amino. Okay, this is a one, two, and three positions. This is the second position. This is the first position. So at third positions propan. At second position there is a substitutions. So propan 2-yle amino. This is a third position where this group is attached, and 2-propanol is a side chain. So by this way you can give a nomenclature of the beta antagonist. Next is a cartelols, where dihydroquinoline ring. So this is called dihydroquinolone, you can say, because of the ketone is there. And here it's a tert-butyl group in all these three structures. In timolol, as I discussed, this is called morpholin ring system and this is called thiodiazyl, but both are attached by the single bond. And levobunolol, where dihydronaphthalene 2 on. So this is called 3,4-dihydronaphthalene 2 on rings are present. These all are some beta 2 blocker which are act as antihypertensive drug for hypertension are propranolol, nadolol, penbutalol, pinbutalol, cartrenol and timolol. So which all having a intrinsic beta agonist activity and partial agonist activity used when cardiac heart rate reduction is required. So drugs which are used in glaucoma, beta 2 receptor beta antagonist which is used in glaucoma. So drugs are cartrenol, timolol, levobutanol and metoprolol are used to treat open angle glaucoma, and this may reduce the production of the aqueous humor. And other use of such drugs are in angina pectoris, myocardial infections and migraine prophylaxis, and exhibit no selectivity for beta receptors, so it is contraindicated in presence of condition like the asthma as well as the bronchitis because it is a non-selective beta blocker. Next is a sotalol. It is called phenyl ethylamine derivatives. This is a phenyl ethylamine derivative which is called antiarrhythmic drug because it blocks the potassium channel and stop the inward potassium current that delay the cardiac repolarization, and basically used in ventricular arrhythmias and arterial fibrillation. So it is the drug which is used in as an antiarrhythmic drug. So in exam question like which beta blocker which is used in arrhythmia and what is the mechanism. So sotalol is basically used as an antiarrhythmic drug which block the potassium channel. Now these are the second generation. First generation are non-selective beta blocker. This is a selective beta blocker. So beta 1 antagonist specifically. So these drugs are acebutolol, atenolol, betaxolol, bisprolol, ismolol and metoprolol. Now what are the advantages over non-selective beta blockers? So lack of blocking effect on beta receptor in the bronchi. So it is a major effect. So it can be safely used in asthma as well as the bronchitis because it having a lacking of blocking effect on beta receptor. It is safer in diabetic patient, causes the inhibition of the glycogenolysis during the hypoglycemia. So basically such kind of agents are used in hypertension, angina pectoris as well as the myocardial infections, while atenolol and metoprolols are the drug of the choice. Specifically in glaucoma, bitoxolols are used, and in cardiac arrhythmia, esmolol and acebutolols are used. Now, if you look at the structures, so where R1 and R2 are the different positions of the phenyl ring, so only in acebutolol here acyl group is there. Sorry, not acetyl, acyl group. So CH3CO group is there in acebutolol. So due to acyl group, it is called acebutolol, and rest all beta 1 antagonists, this position is unsubstituted. This is the structure of acebutolol and hydrolytic conversion of acebutolol to diacetyl, where this amide group is reduced to amine. So instead of this amide chain, only NH2 group is there. This is the structure of atenolol. Let us understand the IUPAC of atenolol. So acetamide is a last suffix. So this is CH2 CuNH2, which is called acetamide. Now on second positions 2 hydroxy. So this is a 2 hydroxy. This is third positions. On third position isopropyl, or you can say propane 2-yl amino group is there. So 2 hydroxy 3 propane 2-yl amino. Then this whole chain is called propoxy, CH2 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 CH CH2O. This is propoxy. This is called fourth positions, phenyl ring, and last is acetamide. Again I am repeating, 2 in bracket 4. So this is a 4 positions, 2 hydroxy, 3 propane 2-yl amino. This is propane 2-yl amino, propoxy, phenyl acetamide. Now this is a 1 and this is a 2. So due to these two, here 2 is coming and this is a 4. It is for this is these positions, para positions, and then nomenclature of these structures are given. And betaxol also, as we discussed, specifically it is used in glaucoma, and other drug are bisoprolol. This is the structure of bisoprolol, ismolol, and metoprolol. So ismolol, it is called ultra short acting beta 1 blocker. So in exam questions like which of the following is ultra short acting beta 1 blocker? So example is ismolol, and ismolol is metabolized to acid and methanol by esterase enzyme. So this is the structure of ismolol. So where here there is a hydrolysis is occurred, so which is converted into the acid as well as the methanol. So methanol moiety is removed from here, and from here acid moiety is removed by esterase enzyme. Now third generation beta antagonists, so drugs are labetalol. So this is the structure of labetalol where two chiral center are present. So which is called phenyl ethanolamine derivative, because of this is a phenyl, this is a ethyl chain, amine plus hydroxy groups are there. So which is called phenyl ethanolamine derivative. So it having a 1.5 times more beta activity than alpha blocking activity, and it is used as a racemate for management of the hypertensions. Alpha 1 blocking produce the vasodilations and beta blocking prevent the reflex tachycardia. So 1R and 1-R isomer of dilvalol is a beta blocker. 1S and 1-R isomer is a alpha blocker, and 1S, 1-S, 1R and 1-S non-blocking activity. So this thing you have to remember. Next is a Arvidilol. So again it is a phenyl ethanolamine derivative, and on beta receptor it is a 10 to 100 times more potent or more active compared to alpha 1 blocking activity. It is basically used as a racemate. R isomer is having a alpha 1 blocking activity, and S isomer having a beta plus alpha 1 blocker activity. And apart from that, it also having antioxidant activity and anti-proliferative activity on vascular SM cells, and basically used in hypertension and conjunctive heart failure. and in carvedilol basically this carbazole ring is present, so this ring is called carbazole ring. So student, this is all about sympatholytic agents, where the important point in these case are the classifications which is more important. So non-selective antagonist, selective alpha 1 antagonist, selective alpha 2 antagonist, so such kind of questions are asked. In beta, again non-selective, or you can say aryl oxypropanolamine derivative, selective beta 1 blocker. This is called mixed alpha and beta antagonist. So labetalol and carvedilol, it is very important, which having a mixed alpha as well as the beta antagonist property, and butoxamine, which is a beta 2 receptor antagonist. So by this way, this chapter is very